What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about a concept that's been on my mind for a little bit, and I've talked about it briefly before. I've mentioned it alongside the, 1,000 True Fans theory by Kevin Kelly, but it really is in the broader context of what NFT communities are. It really makes sense for a game like Splinterlands. Now, we've all been talking about mass adoption. When are all these new players going to come in and yada, 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 right? And it makes sense. Obviously, we're all excited about that. We want the game to grow. But in terms of overall mass adoption and how many people can actually come in and play the game and how many people will actually want to come in and play the game and be able to, that's the important thing, be able to, we now have so many limiting factors in place. And I'm not talking just about the prohibitive cost financially, but just from a simple earnings perspective, there's only a set amount of SPS out in circulation right now. And there's only a set amount, or there's a minimum amount of SPS to earn a certain level of rewards. So, just taking a look here, we have 1.1 billion SPS, of which we've already burned, 65 million of that. And then we're hoping that the flywheel will burn more. But on the total, there'll only ever be 3 billion minus whatever's already been burned and will be burned in the future. But even at this time, if let's say a bunch of players wanted to come in with this 1.115 billion SPS. If a bunch of players wanted to come in and play at the highest levels, meaning at champion, and they needed, and I'm just doing the rough math here, right? So they needed 400,000 SPS. That's less than 3,000 players. I think it's 2,700 players that would be able to play at the champion level and earn the maximum amount. Now, of course, people could have less than that and still earn something. But in terms of getting the maximum amount, or at least what we're used to in terms of that 10x multiplier, it would only be 2,700 players. Now, you flip that to Diamond, and Diamond, we'll just cut it down to 200,000. So you double the amount of players that are able to play at Diamond with a full bag, or 10x rewards multiplier. So that's 5,500. When you get even lower than that, let's say you go down to the bronze silver area, 1.1 billion divided by, let's just say 10,000 SPS is only 110,000 players that would be able to be earning at whatever multiplier 10,000 SPS gives to them. So what am I trying to say here? Well, again, this is not a game that's ever going to be designed for the masses, for millions of players to come in, because there's just not going to be that opportunity. And that kind of goes in line with what these NFT projects are all about. And I'm talking about more the NFT profile picture things, but obviously this comes down and it's the same ethos within a crypto-based Bitcoin. Well, it's not Bitcoin, but just crypto-based, blockchain-based, NFT-based kind of game. And what I mean by that is scarcity. Scarcity is so valuable. So you want this game to really only be accessible to a few number of players, a limited amount of players. Now, you also want the rewards to be completely outsized, right? So we want SPS to be at 25, 50 cents, $1, so that people coming in are fighting, right? Are fighting for a way to get in. It raises the floor price on every asset, mainly SPS, but obviously with the cards as well. But we're in a position now where there's a lot of cards, there's a lot of SPS, and not as many players. So, it's a little bit of the chicken and the egg problem. We're trying to get to the point where the flywheel can launch, the rewards go higher, and therefore incentivize people to come in, soak up all of the assets, and start earning. But the overall thesis remains the same, that this is never a game that's going to have millions of daily active players. Now, here's the thing. There was the recent passing and recent announcement of Soulkeep, right? And I don't know what the status of Soulkeep is right now, but we know that Soulkeep is also going to eat into the amount of SPS needed in order to play and earn in that game. So at the end of the day, I'm completely discounting that, but you don't need all the players to come in just for Splinterlands. You could have players just casually playing on something like Soulkeep and taking away SPS as a potential multiplier for earnings here within the trading card game. We also have land. That's going to be a whole other thing, but that doesn't necessarily tap into what I'm trying to talk about here. at the end of the day, the card game, right, the actual trading card game is still the core of Splinterlands, in my opinion. We haven't seen anything that's necessarily going to change that. Land is going to be its own thing, but it seems very supplementary or supplemental to the card game. And then, tower defense might be its own thing as well, and we don't know how that's going to work out. But ultimately, just kind of sharing these numbers with you of like, well, with the amount of SPS we have right now, which is, a little bit more than a third of the total amount. I mean, imagine we get to a point where only 7,000, 8,000 champion level players are able to play and earn the maximum-ish rewards, right, for 400,000 SPS. Imagine that it's triple with Diamond, right? We all get to like 15 to 20,000 players that are able to play at those higher levels. So again, so much needs to happen in order for the game to really take off. But it does make you think about where we are at right now, what level of the game you are playing at, and what level you might be able to play it in the future when things do potentially become much more limited because of the scarcity factor. We're not feeling it now, but if the team is successful in what they're trying to accomplish, and we do hit another, bull run at some point within the next 2 to 3 years, I would say that it's definitely possible for the rewards to go up, to bring in new players, and for the economy to actually feel that scarcity again, to the point where it becomes very much a club that you want to be inside, right? You want to be in rather than on the outside. And I wouldn't be surprised, similar to what we saw in 2021 and we saw with like that Axie Infinity model, for people who are not or are priced out of being able to own their assets, we'll probably see a very strong scholarship model. In fact, some of that's coming back even right now with the change in the pro-human modern format. So again, it's not going to be something where there's going to be like you won't be able to get in at all. I think there will be opportunities for people to come in and start building up their stack over time. But at the end of the day, what this comes down to really is SPS. And that's why SPS is like the most important thing for me. It needs to moon in order for everything else in the game to really start to make sense. It'll bring in new players, it'll soak up cards off the market, and it'll make people want to play the game, want to own the assets, and go from there. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about a game that doesn't need or maybe even want millions of players? I mean, even just tens of thousands is going to change things dramatically. 100,000 would change things dramatically. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.